Welcome to the Yogi Triathlete podcast. Since 2016, we've been showing up weekly to bring you stories of transformation, insight, and inspiration. Or as we have said for many, many years, stories of people who are looking, finding, and living their purpose. But recently we did something we've never done before. We paused. And that pause opened a new chapter. Our first series-focused podcast where we followed 5 extraordinary athletes to the finish line of their first Ironman in Arizona. It was a journey filled with breakthroughs, challenges, and triumphs, and we were honored to share it with you. But now that series has ended, and once again, we find ourselves resting in the pause, that space between what was and what will be. It's the moment of transition where reflection meets possibility, and we believe it's worth exploring. So join us for this series as we riff on life from the pause, tapping into the power of stillness, waiting, and trusting the magic of what comes next in sport and life and for this podcast. We're so grateful to have you here. So let's get started. Welcome to the show, BJ. Hello. You are my co-host in this series.
Hello.
Hello.
It's good to be here.
It's New Year's Day.
Yay.
And we are recording this live in our Pod Squad community. So thank you to all of our Pod Squad supporters. You guys are significantly helping us keep this podcast commercial free, which I think is number one, so important. Number two, so cool that since 2016, we've had a community supported podcast. We had a big transition too. When we did this pause, we shifted from our Patreon platform over to a community online now through our website. So that's where all of these things are happening. And if you're interested, please jump over to YogiTriathlete.com. Check out Pod Squad, which is under podcasts. And for $10 a month, we do video exclusives. You guys always get all the episodes before anybody else does. And yeah, we just really appreciate you. And so we appreciate your flexibility and your ability to stay the course with us as we kind of explore this pause.
Yeah. And what's flowing and flooding in after listening to that, the pause, is it can be such a terrifying thing. I'll speak from personal experience because you're stopping, right? You're not stopping, you're pausing, temporarily stopping. And then the mind goes into, well, what's next? Or what are the ramifications of what you're doing? And what are you missing moving forward? And in all of that chaotic thought that I just shared with you is also something that we miss, which is like feeding the imagination that in a pause, all things are possible moving forward. And we forget that so many times because we tend to gravitate towards the lack, myself included. This is what we just naturally do. This is a lot of us. This is what our default is, mostly around finances or job searches or moving or buying that next, amazing vehicle that you drive. But it limits what could possibly happen, what could possibly go right, what could possibly flood in, what could potentially come into your life that can just simply shift everything that you thought was true into something else. And that's what I tend to feed myself. And I know we're going to talk about like 2024 and a little bit of that, going back into a little bit of that. But a big part of what I'm sharing right now is what you believe. Like, what do you believe is pause, the meaning of pause to you? And does it mean that everything halts, or does it mean that it's a time to be the launching pad for something amazing coming into your life? I don't know. How does that land?
Yeah, I mean, the pause can be super scary, right? I mean, it's a risk from a business standpoint. Like, we shifted platforms, and the support that we were receiving for the podcast, like, kind of fell through the ground. But like, we're still going. We're still going to do it because we believe in the message that we're putting out there, and we believe in a commercial-free stream. And that's really that's so important. You got to believe, and so it can be scary. It's like when you're in that pause, you don't really know what's going to happen, but we knew something needed to change. And we've got some kind of cool ideas. I think we talked about it in the first pause, but like, I love this idea of like truly incredible feats. Why does it remind me of like something from like a show or a movie? I don't know. But yeah, I'm letting that percolate. And of course it's like, it's us, right? And we're running this business and we're coaching athletes and we're putting out this podcast, and like the Awake Athlete podcast it's like, okay, now I gotta go like find people that have done truly incredible feats.
So look at yesterday. Yesterday was a
So yeah, it can be scary, but staying the same sometimes is not the way to go.
No. Yesterday we did an 8-hour meditation. We got up at 3. We started at 3:55, and then meditated for 8 hours. We re-entry into the world, and then it was like right back to work. We were like hustling and bustling all afternoon, getting stuff done all the way until the evening. And to me, it was fun. It was fun. And yes, there's the mind that wants a little bit of a break sometimes, but when you look at it, we chose this path. We chose this path. We chose to birth this community and this company and business. And I wouldn't have it any other way. There's so much goodness here, and it makes coming out of that meditation and doing the stuff that we need to get accomplished so much better. And so that meditation to me yesterday was just like a big pause into like all the stuff that we've been trying to momentum we put out there. And it was like a kind of a big reset, but I came out of it with a lot more focus, I guess you could say, and just really clear on those hours that happened afterwards.
Yeah.
Which brought us to here with you fine folks.
Yeah, with you fine folks. Nobody's on this live right now.
Well, the podcast people who are out there listening when we launch this.
Thank you.
Public.
Thank you for listening. We're going to keep this. I think we're going to keep this short because BJ's got a yoga class to go to. Why do you have to go to this yoga class, BJ?
This is pretty incredible. I decided to do 30 days of hot yoga flow. And so, yeah, I'm wrapping it up. Today will be it's not days. This would be day 32. But how many times I've gone to yoga, this would be my 31st yoga flow
since December 1st. Yeah.
I've skipped 3 days fully, and I've doubled up, I think 3 days, went in the morning and in the evening. And my decision to move into some heat and humidity and do a yoga flow for an hour every day just really resonated. And so I took action on it with the support of my coach, biggest supporter over here.
Why did you decide, like, was there a little like, okay, there's all these athletes from the team that are starting bike camp and you're still healing from your crash in October? Like, was there a little bit of that? Like, I want to give me a challenge.
Yeah. Bike camp just wasn't, well, it probably was, but what felt better was to jumpstart myself in some yoga flow.
What did it give you? Like, what are you coming out of it with?
I'm coming out of it certainly more awake to my breath and my body. One thing I find when you get into a consistent yoga flow, I guess with anything that you do consistently, guess what? You get better at it. You become more aware of it. You understand how your body constantly is shifting and moving. I noticed one day I'll be doing the forward fold into ragdoll, and I can't even bend over because my high hamstring is in so much intense nervy pain. And then I'll go back the evening for another class, and it's not even there. And you wonder, like, oh my God, was I in the same body? But again, this just demonstrates for me, and maybe this plants a seed for all of you, that there's constantly things in motion in your body, and stagnation is not the solution. Sitting still actually sitting is not the solution, but constantly moving and understanding that things are constantly in flow. It's energy. Everything is always moving. And we tend to grip to the timeline and say, I'll go to yoga only once my hamstring heals. Well, I'm going to go to yoga every day as my hamstring continues to heal at whatever capacity, and then beyond it. So that's just the approach that I've had so much success with, and that I've had athletes have success with. It's just continuing to move forward, even though the evidence may be that in the mind or in the timeline that you attach to, it's not getting any better. So yoga for me, to answer your question, was really beneficial in opening up my body, the tight spots, and also getting back in tune with certain areas that we're feeling intense.
Do you feel stronger? Do you feel like it gave you strength?
I definitely feel I got stronger.
Where?
Yeah. My upper back is like ripping.
Shredded?
It's not shredded. It's just really achy
Shredded.
and sore.
It's totally shredded.
Those chaturangas. The up dog, when you go up,
I love the up.
I feel like I can eke just a little bit more every time as I'm going up, and then you go into down dog. But yeah, I definitely have benefited from strength, breath awareness, and also working with my likes and dislikes, which I think is a very important piece to growth in this world. We all have likes and dislikes, and where the frustration lies is when one of those is met or not met. And our work in this world, I believe, is to get to know those things so that you're onto them. So when they do pop up, you can navigate it with more ease.
Like not every teacher is your teacher.
Yeah. And
not that they're bad teachers.
In the room.
It's just,
in the room.
mean, we've experienced that as yoga teachers. Not every student is our student.
In the room. Maybe the heat's not too hot or it's not hot enough.
Right.
Or where I am in the room. Oh, why did I choose over here? I could be over here. Constant preference system. Constant. I want to go to the noon class, but I can't because it, just came up. And it's all about the likes and dislikes and how you navigate that. Because just ask yourself, what do you like and dislike? You like this podcast. You don't like this one. You like to go home this way. You don't like to do this way. You like this food, not that food. And when we grip really tightly on it and those conditions aren't met, we suffer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to raise my hand. I don't want to suffer as much. Do you?
No, I don't want to suffer as much either. No.
All right. So what have you been doing? So you're doing bike camp.
Yeah. I'm doing bike camp.
And how's that going?
Yeah, so good. I love bike camp. I love a good challenge. I love this is 6 weeks and it's nothing, right? And so I love just prioritizing it. I love seeing how some days they do a really good job at that. And then some days it's like 6 o'clock and I'm like, oh my God. Because the thing is like, as an entrepreneur, like I can just grind at my computer all day. So you have to step away. You have to use that willpower to step away. But I love bike camp. And I'm excited to see what my FTP will be at the end. I like to see improvement. That is a preference. If I don't see improvement, I'm going to be very upset now.
You will suffer.
I will see improvement. I know that. I believe I will. Because these sessions are such quality. I love them. Today was like, what was it? It was 10 times a minute at 120% FTP. And then 6 times 30 seconds at 130%. And the minute ones were like the last few, my heart rate was high, which is so good. My heart rate was high. The last few were like at the end, like the last 7 seconds or 12 seconds, like those can be really tough, but I love it. And I also love a good challenge because I'm also training for an ultra marathon on March 8th. And my run volume is pretty low right now, but where I'm trusting and believing that this strength from the bike is going to help me. But I've got a big weekend ahead. I'm thinking I'll do the 3-hour bike on Saturday. And then what do you think I should do on Sunday? Hit the trails? Well, how many hours on the trails? 3. Yes, that's what I was going to say. 3. So yeah, that'll be a nice weekend. So if you look at that, that's 6 hours. That's going to be close to what a 50K will be. Although this 50K is pretty legit. All 50Ks are legit, but it's got 6,300 feet of climbing, which is a little higher than normal for a 50K. And then, it's an ultra. So God knows what it will actually be, at the end of the day. What the distance will be. They typically start on time.
Be 30.5 1 miles or 2
Probably
miles.
won't be. I like that too, right? That's really fun. So I'm excited going up with a couple of teammates from the team, and then squad mates and dear friends. So it's gonna be fun. It's a girls' weekend. Yeah, and then but one of the things I want to resolve for one of my I resolve to get my swim fitness back in 2025. I never quite lose a lot, which is great. I love that. And I think it's just swimming is something that comes naturally for me. But I've definitely lost fitness. Like I've definitely lost fitness in the pool. And I want to get that fitness back because there's just nothing like, I just love swim fitness so much. So okay, moving into like what we're resolving to do, and you might have a different word that you want to use, is I want to get my swim fitness back. And then also I am, and I've already started, but I am interacting and embracing Strava. I'm not just going to be like the evening strength session, morning run girl anymore. So I want to add some photos. And yeah, I'm going to interact with Strava more. And those are kind of like the two things, physical, real world stuff. But there's also like higher stuff, which, we talked about in 2021, shortly after your mom passed away, Beej, about just loving without condition, and along with that, being okay with whatever it is, which our teacher hammers us with always, just be okay with whatever it is. And like Beej said, the suffering, like stopping the fighting, stopping the suffering so much, and taking action in the direction that I desire and letting go of those results, but just loving without condition, right? And being on the microphone and being in front of the camera and being a business owner and, being a retreat leader, like I'm not always pleasing everyone. And that's so hard. And to not take those things personally, like doing my best and watching that part of me that has conditions and overriding that with this pursuit and resolve to truly love without condition and be okay with whatever it is, and be better, as you say, BJ, be better.
Yeah, that's really gonna stick.
It's so hard though. Like you just
can't it's super hard.
I think anybody who's ever owned a business before like understands that. But
well, I think yes, I agree. I think that intensifies things because it's your business. So you there's a personalization there. You take things personally to a point, but it's a business. And I think part of that likes and dislikes and suffering right next there is like you travel a lot. So you see interactions, and I'm thinking in my head, like, yeah, it's hard. You go to the airport and you see these conversations of just anger and dissatisfaction, and you're just watching it all, and it's like it doesn't have to be this way. At least that's what I think. And you feel the energy, right? Because you can feel that energy coming off, and you see like, wow, like this is where we're at. This is pretty intense. And so it's tough. It's not always handled well. It's not always oh, well, thank you for that information, I appreciate it. That's not always a response that is available, or it is available, but maybe not always used. So yeah, it is hard, and it takes time to practice it. But when you're awake and aware, like we talked about early on, you see these moments happening. You see the heightened, elevated situations starting to take shape, and you can simply choose not to indulge and step away. So it's not, and again, we talk about this a lot too. It's not the path most traveled, but it is the path most worthwhile for your higher growth. So, yeah.
What do you resolve to do in 2025, or whatever what word do you like to use? Intention?
Yeah, intention.
What do you intend?
I intend to continue what I did in 2024. Be better. Act as if I have nothing to lose. I think the only thing that's coming in recently is just slowing down, which combines with this pause here. It's just slowing down. And that doesn't mean slow down my training, slow down my speed. It means as I navigate the day, where are there moments where I'm just moving so quickly? One thing is eating quickly. That's one thing I can slow down at. The next is like putting stuff away in the kitchen. I find myself going left, and we've done this before. We have a small kitchen and we bump into each other. And if I had just slowed, turned around, oh, there's Jess, wait a moment, and then move by and then put the fork not into her, but put the fork into the drawer. That can all happen not in 1 second. It could happen in like 4 seconds, right?
That's like a trigger zone for you. I know.
Yeah.
I can feel it.
So
talk about feeling it.
It's just slowing down in those moments and slowing down. I've already done I believe I'll give myself kudos here. Slowing down with Clark, as we both navigated last year, slowing down and allowing him to sniff more. That was one thing I have absolutely done more of, and not had this rushing agenda. We got to go. We got to get going. We slow down and we have an to, and we smell things. So that's part of my intention, but I want to continue to be better. I think that's a good one. And I'll also add, again, loving without condition. Love without condition. That is super hard, but I'm not in this game to play it easy, to take the soft road. I'm here to, as I've shown through all the experiences I have shared with the public, like, it's usually something intense and big, and I'm willing to do the work to navigate it.
Heck
and
yeah.
That means exponential growth. So
do you have any like light intentions? Like, I'm going to be better on Strava. Got any surface level stuff you want to get after?
I'm going to start wearing things that are not baggy, have rips in them, dog hair on them.
Oh my God. Are you serious? That's amazing.
Well,
yeah, you're looking pretty
I got my
tidy right now.
I got my first pair of stretchy jeans.
I won't say what they really are.
She wants to call them skinny jeans.
They are skinny jeans. If you pull up the order, it's going to say.
Okay, but I focus on the stretchy. So they're stretchy jeans. I have a new hoodie, which I'm wearing here. If you're part of Pod Squad, I got this on Instagram ad. It is awesome. The other hoodie had holes and rips in it. It was really baggy. It actually turned into like a raincoat down to my knees and had food on it. So I still have that one.
That's so gross.
But this is the new hoodie, which is so exceptional. I'm going to give a little play to this hoodie because it is nice and soft.
Pretty sweet.
Jess, is it soft?
It's really soft. I like it.
The strings that pull from the hood, they're not connected. It's not one string. It's actually tied in the back so that if you pull through the right one, the left one won't move. And if it goes inside, it won't go inside because it's not going to be full. They're two separate
what's the
strings.
brand?
Kettle, Ketl. They're mountain apparel. I got it roped into an ad. They also have thumb holes
It's the best.
down below, which I really love. And it's a running hoodie. So I've run in this the past couple times I've gone out for a run.
Awesome. So you're up in your fashion game.
Up in the fashion game.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
We're up in the fashion game too, with some custom stuff from Bamboo Works, which I'm pumped about.
Yeah, really good stuff. Do you know the Chinese bamboo tree? This is why I love the Bamboo Works. Chinese bamboo, you plant it. It takes 5 years and nothing shows. You water it, you keep watering it, nothing shows.
Sounds like YogiTriathlete.
Right. But in the next 5 weeks, it grows 90 feet.
Oh, yes, it does sound like YogiTriathlete.
So wait for those exponential growths to come. Just keep watering the seeds.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's good.
I know.
I like the
the parallel.
I like the fashion.
The fashion.
Yes, I like the deep, meaningful parallel, but I also like that you're upping your fashion.
Here's another surface level thing.
Okay, good.
We can talk
Let's have
about
it. I love it.
I kind of looked at the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years of training data. swim, bike, and run in my volume. In the past 2 years, my swim volume has been substantially lower than it has ever been before. I did have a shoulder opportunity that held me back from swimming. So I focused on the things I could, and I still had the best races of my life.
Yeah, but I think that's because of all the volume and the skill and
I've done in
everything
the past.
skills that you've put in.
So this
in
is
the
why
past.
you do the work. What my point was, like, this is why you keep doing the work, because when you can't do the work, you can rely. That's when you rely on all the work that you have done in the past. Same thing, when you're hitting workouts, like Jess was hitting bike camp, then had to travel. Well, had to take some time off. She couldn't bring her bike with her. She comes back, pull right back into bike camp. She's able to pick right back up. So that week did not have an impact on her in terms of fitness. And so what is that? That's a testament to every day she showed up in the years before for all the workouts that she could show up for.
Yeah. And that trip home was a lot.
Why was it a lot?
I was in the hospital every day.
Not you.
No, I wasn't in the hospital, but I was in the hospital visiting my dad every day and just helping my mom and getting things in order. And he's at the end of his life. But he's okay. Can we just talk about how insane this man is?
Lou. We can say Lou.
Lou. Yeah, my dad, Lou. He is a Marine because you could never tell him that he was a Marine. He is a Marine. And he is so disciplined. Oh my God. He went to his Parkinson's spinning class in congestive heart failure after spitting up blood like all morning and went and rode the bike for 45 minutes. So he just he leaves no excuses for anyone and literally was like in the ER and admitted to the hospital the next day. And so leading into that trip, was front loading bike camp, like doing the 2 hard sessions that week, thinking like we had gotten my dad a spin bike in COVID, that because movement is like everything for Parkinson's. And so I figured, I can hop on the spin bike, but there was none of that. It was like, go to the bank, like checking balances, like looking into a line of equity in the house, like all this stuff was there. And then I'm like getting up at 4 a.m. and, just trying to get a little bit of work done or returning emails, because once the sun came up and my mom got up, it was just like, it was about being in service, and she's exhausted and she's overwhelmed. And, it was like, I would do the shopping and then come home. And one thing I love to do is I make food for them. I make all the meals, and typically she's like, I'll clean up. But this time she's like, I'm not cleaning up. So I was like cleaning up and then going to bed at like 11 and waking up. And it was a lot, but I snuck in runs and I snuck in me moments, like lots of me moments. Like I brought my mom's car to get an oil change and then went to the bank with her and my sister to help her with some stuff at the bank. And then my brother, who's an amazing dude, shows up at the bank and he's like, I'm breaking you out, and went and picked up my mom's car after the oil change. And I was like, I should just go home. And I'm like, oh, hell no, I'm going to the beach. And it was like, we were having a cold snap. It was like 17 degrees. And I'm like, I'm going to go to the beach and just feel that fierce cold and look at the ocean and feel the sand and freeze my butt off and be thankful that I'm alive. And so it was a lot, but I snuck in the me moments, and my parents' house backs up to this conservation land and these trails. And I would just get on the trail. I would do like 20, 30-minute runs, 10 to 30-minute yoga sessions whenever I could. I keep a yoga mat at my parents' house. And so when I kept like a level of fitness, and then came back and was able to literally hop on the bike and do a 3-hour ride. And then the next day did like, I don't know, an hour ride, and then got on. I don't even know. I'm like so confused about the weekends at this point. Did another ride and did a trail run. But yeah, it was a lot and it was heavy, but having that outlet is so important to move the body. And when you're in service like that, having those me moments, they're so massive. They're so massive.
All right.
Okay. What?
Let's share some exciting things. Think back to 2024, pick one. We can do more, but just pick one for now that, I don't know, that really stands out for you.
Oh my God. I just think I went back, I did my recap for 2024. Like I led 7 retreats and adventures and camps. And I just had known that for so long that I was going to do that. I knew that I was going to lead yoga retreats. I mean, I've always had like an adventurous spirit. And then when I discovered that this thing called yoga adventures existed, it's like my whole existence on this earth made sense. Like I feel like those were made for me. And that started with the Patagonia adventure in March, which was so spectacular. It's just this insane balance of like exhilaration and deep, deep peace. It's insane. I can't wait. I'm literally going back in like 40 days with another amazing group of women. I love these women stepping up to go on the trips. Where are you guys? We need you guys to come too. And so I think just the adventure, and I think one of the things that I realized is like, I love it all. As soon as you drop me off at the airport, like I'm on adventure. I love it. Like the flights, the layovers, none of it rattles me. I love it all. I love it all because it's all like an adventure. And then the way home, it's like, it's the reflection. It's the metabolism of metabolizing the experience. And I think one of the most incredible moments from that trip was the hike that we do up to Lake Obsession, which is this heart-shaped glacier lake. And it's just incredible. It's like 3 miles up and 3,000 feet of climbing. There's a point where you're on ropes. It's so cool. So I loved that. The Galapagos Islands, living with giant tortoises. You know, people go to the Galapagos because they want to see the giant tortoises. And you can go to the Darwin Center where they have the breeding center, and you can go to a couple, I think there's like 1 or 2 other places where you can see these giant tortoises. But where we go and where we stay on this yoga adventure, we live amongst them. They roam the grounds. And so that was pretty spectacular. That was really exciting. Okay, but I think the most, there's so many amazing things. Getting a new bike was pretty amazing. But I just thinking about that moment in Kona where you got into the water and I was standing with Jennifer, our dear friend Jennifer, and I was filming you and you got into the water and you started to swim, and all of a sudden I saw your feet kicking and you hadn't been able to kick your legs, and you kicked. And in that moment we were like, okay, he's going to be able to do the swim. And so I think that was a super exciting moment.
You just teleported me right to that moment. I'm thinking, how did that happen? Like, how could I not kick on Sunday and then Tuesday be in the ocean in the Pacific and kick? It just doesn't add up in this physical world, but it happened.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What about for you? What was the exciting thing?
Ironman Arizona.
Oh, yeah, that too.
These beautiful 5 first timers that, as I shared earlier with the podcast and signing up and doing the training and showing up, all of them had challenges going into the race, like always, physical and, life challenges, but everybody finished. And to see this recap video put together of 10 minutes of what seems like 20 years of effort put into what we did, to see them there. I have this visual of them all in front of the iMazine in our kits, like smiling and joking around with each other. And it just, I don't know if you want to talk about manifestation and waiting for the good things to come, that let's just say 20 years, 20 years for that to really like come to fruition and see that. Just, I think I've watched 4 or 5 versions of that video and cry every time I see it, because it's one of those ones that I would watch on YouTube and it would tug at my heart and I would well up with emotion because I know what it takes to get to the starting line. And I know what it takes to cross the line and then work with those emotions. So I know it all too well. And to me, that was a really powerful moment. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And I want to do it again and again. And I want to do it again and again.
Oh my God, I know, right? You're like, cling,
more,
cling, cling,
right?
cling, cling. Well, we'll do that again. I loved that series. Did you guys like that series? Let us know. Have you listened to it? Listen to it.
Yeah, Ironman First Timers. We did a group, had everybody on individually, and then group again, and then group to recap.
Yeah, and then the basically the race day movie. So get over to YouTube and check that out. It's awesome.
It's really cool.
And Ironman Arizona 2025 is going to be a team event again. So come with us. Join us. Mm-hmm. Coach Melissa's got some spots. She is ready to take on new athletes. She's got, I don't know, several now that are training for Ironman. So join them. She's in the Ironman zone right now and she's good. Okay, let's wrap this up because you have a yoga class to go to. But I thought, should I wrap it up with our directive from our teacher on this year, on 2025 and what it is?
Sure.
Okay. So 2024 was a year to reach for the stars. I hope you did. I know we talked about it at the beginning of last year. It was the year to like go for it. And it was going to be a very satisfying year. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not going to have lows, like you're not going to have challenges. Of course you are. But overall, it was a year to really reach for the stars. Okay, so 2025, and this comes from our teacher, is a year of endings, not beginnings. It is a time to bless and release anything that doesn't serve you and feel a sense of satisfaction. So another satisfying year. Forgive and let go. Be content, making room for things to come. And I was thinking about that, like watch where your mind goes with that, with like the endings, not the beginnings. I mean, I know an ending, like I can't imagine that, you know, my dad will be here a year from now. So that's probably an ending that we're going towards, you know, in his physical life. But it's also like, it can also be the end of like, you know,
a story that you're like an yourself,
end of like thoughts that don't serve you, or end of like a habit that's not serving you,
or a hoodie that isn't,
or a hoodie that has peanut butter stains on it. Like, let it go, bless it and let it go, and forgive yourself for wearing it for so long. But it's good because 2026, I can tell you, not to get too far ahead, is going to be a year of actual beginnings. So we want to clear the space. So don't be surprised if there's endings, which it's a good thing, letting things go. And then you're also going to have a lot of joy and challenge, and you're going to have everything that life promises, because that's just what it does. Final words before we sign off?
Yeah. Don't take the evidence of now as the predictor of your future. I invested so much into Ironman Texas, so much, and in April, and it did not go to plan. And then the build into Placid was not ideal, and I had the race of my lifetime. So when you're doing all this work and you're showing up for yourself and laying the foundation and getting stuff done, the opportunity that you're focused on may not be the one that this work is for. It may be for something bigger and better down the road. And that trust and belief that there is something waiting for you. You just need to continue to do the work, or like the bamboo, continue to water the seeds, even though you don't see any improved performance or evidence that it's working. It's all working. It's all working for you. Continue to do the day in and day out, and continue to detach from any expectations, and an amazing flow of abundance and miraculous moments will flood into your life. I truly believe that. I experience it, and I wish moments like that for you all.
Oh, thanks, babe. Thanks for being here, everyone.